Okay, this is part two to the rant of rude neighbors or loud, noisy neighbors. The thing that I don't understand, that they don't understand, that I don't understand, they don't understand, is that if you fall asleep at normal times, like the latest 11 o'clock, then you won't be sleeping all well into 11 in the afternoon. But these neighbors are constantly staying up until 3 o'clock in the morning, you know, being loud, blasting their music, drinking and stuff, and then they wonder why they get mad when us regular people wake up at 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock to do our daily thing, whether it's to go to work or get the kids up for school. And name one kid who doesn't wake up screaming when they go to school. There's always the kids that are like, oh, I don't want to go to school, or more sleep. So, and plus kids in general are loud. You have to control them and make them not be, acting a fool every time they wake up. But anyways, going back to what I was saying. So you always have these neighbors that they stay up all hours of the night, being loud, obnoxious, blasting their music. And then when they blast their music, they want to scream loud. And I'm thinking to myself, like, if you want for the other person who you're hanging out with, or the people you're hanging out to hear you, lower down the music. And like that, you guys can hear you. But no, they're stupid. They don't make sense to themselves. They're blasting music to the highest that the radio can go. And yet now they're screaming at each other just so they can hear each other, because the music's so loud. And then it disturbs their neighbor, because not only is the neighbor hearing the music, and the bass from the music, they're also hearing the loud screaming, because fucking idiots don't understand. If you want to hear each other, lower down the music. But yeah, so that's what happens. These neighbors they don't respect nobody. They do their partying or being loud. And also too, you don't need to yell all the time to talk to somebody in your own house. Like, how freaking annoying is that I can hear, or anybody can hear, your conversation from your home when you have your doors and windows closed. Like, how loud you have to be for people to hear you the next door, or upstairs to downstairs, or downstairs to upstairs. Like, it's just ridiculous. Like, be respectful. If your neighbor is the quiet neighbor, doesn't make obscene sounds or noise, goes to bed at a reasonable time, don't you think you should be respectful enough to respect them and not make their life harder? And also too, if they do have places that you can be as loud and as annoying as possible. If you like drinking and listening to music, there's clubs. Literally, they're designed to be loud. But no, they'd rather do it in their home. And it's one thing that if it's just one person living next door to you, but when you have a family and they have kids, and now kids are being born with problems, and and it's pretty bad that the kid has to suffer listening to the crappy loud music their neighbors playing, instead of them having the nice comfortable quietness that a kid needs to be able to go to sleep, or whatever the reason is. But people are just rude and unrespectful. Or should I say disrespectful? They don't care. And then they want to act all mad when they get a letter in the mail saying you've been evicted because of complaint of excessive noise. Not noise, regular noise. No, excessive noise, which means you're doing noise more than what normally is allowed to be done. But it's funny because I see them all the time. They walk to their house, their apartment, and they have this yellow or orange paper on their door, and it's usually from the sheriff's officer. And they get mad and they start questioning all their neighbors, like, who the fuck were ratted me out, or started complaining about the music or the loudness, or me having 20 million people in my home screaming and yelling. and then they blame everybody else but themselves. Like, if you would have been a respectful neighbor, there wouldn't be nothing to be complained about. But people don't understand that. I get it, people still complain about stuff, but at least they complain only about stuff that can't get you evicted. But when they complain about something to get you evicted, the only one to blame is you, because you're making it happen. So I'm just saying, neighbors respect each other. If you live next to a neighbor who's quiet, you be quiet too, regardless of who moved in first. They pay rent, you pay rent. And if the lease says they live in a safe, quiet environment, then you need to make it a safe, quiet environment.